component in the WNBA right now is Angel Reese and her dozens of aliases. Has anyone seen Bayou Barbie lately? Where in the hell is Double Double Barbie? Where is the me-bound clown? It has been weeks since I have heard anything about Angel Reese. She's becoming known as the Vanishing Barbie because no one can find
Angel Reese. She might have tapped out, y'all. Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating. What is this back injury? What's going on? Hey, are you trying to pretend like you hurt because Caitlin Clark really is hurt? Wait. What's going on?
Something's not adding up here. Angel Reese keeps hiding behind this so-called back injury, but people are starting to think she's ducking more than pain. She might be dodging accountability. 3 straight weeks, 3 straight blowouts, and the Chicago Sky look less like a WNBA squad and more like a team you'd catch running half court at the local gym. Since June, this franchise has been spiraling out of control. No answers, no adjustments, no urgency. And every time fans press for clarity, the Sky just throw out that same tired excuse day to day.
Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no details. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing. There's no information about Angel Reese. I think she's quit on this.
No official medical reports, no clear updates, just radio silence. And that silence is turning into anger. A growing wave of suspicion is crashing down, with fans convinced this injury feels more like a smoke and mirrors act than an actual setback. And let's keep it real, the whispers aren't whispers anymore, they're full-on shouts. People are saying Angel Reese might have flat out quit on her squad. Because if she's really hurt, then why is she skipping games but still out here, pushing sneaker launches and flooding Instagram with promo posts? How you got time for photo shoots?
Angel Reese declined to travel to Indianapolis, and her coach came out and said something about, she's just focused on her rehab right now, and, she's day to day. We've never had an explanation on what caused the back injury, what's a time frame for her recovery. It's similar to so-and-so's back injury. This is something she struggled with here or there. All we've heard is day to day, and Angel Reese has disappeared.
But not for your teammates, your city, and the loyal fan base begging for just one reason to believe this season ain't already buried. For someone claiming she wants to be the face of the league, disappearing when the lights are hottest is a bad look. Straight up. Let us know in the comments if you think Angel's really hurt, or if this is just the beginning of a season-long vanishing act. Because here's the thing, normally when a pro athlete goes down, the team comes clean with details.
Supposedly, Angel Reese has been dealing with a back injury. That is the official reason for her mysterious absence. But there has been rampant speculation that this back injury isn't as serious as Angel Reese claims. And some believe that Angel Reese has quit on her team and quit on the season.
But this whole saga is nothing but inconsistency, and fans aren't letting it slide. When a player's really hurt, you usually hear the truth. Ankle sprain, hamstring pull, concussion protocol. And along with that comes a recovery timeline. 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe out until playoffs. But with Angel Reese, all fans get is the same recycled excuse day to day. No specifics, no medical breakdown, not even a clue about what body parts supposedly hurt.
Hey, look, bro, you gotta remember, she quit in Unrivaled. She just stopped playing in Unrivaled. Said she was hurt, didn't show up for the championship game, didn't even show up and watch. Last season, she claimed her wrist was messed up, didn't finish playing in none of the games. Now, this year, she's saying this season, it's her back. It looked like she's not finishing playing in none of the games. The Sky needs you. The Chicago Sky, you guys are the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league. They need Angel Reese to play in games. Angel, where you at? Where you at, Angel? This is
After nearly a month of this song and dance, people are fed up. It's no wonder the conversation has shifted from sympathy to suspicion. Fans are straight up asking if Reese is even injured at all, or if the Sky are just running cover to protect her image while the team collapses on the court.
Weeks. Angel Reese has played 3 games. I'm no expert in math, but that appears to be less than 1 game a week. Unsurprisingly, all 3 games Angel Reese played in, the Chicago Bravado lost by an average of 18 points. Translation, they got their ass kicked.
Just look at the difference in Indiana. If Caitlin Clark tweaks her knee or bangs her elbow, the Fever immediately drop the info. What happened, how serious, and when fans can expect her back. That's called respect. That's called transparency. Chicago, they're doing the exact opposite, leaving their supporters in the dark. And that silence is poisoning the trust between the team and the city. Angel, where you at?
If Angel Reese is in no rush to return because she doesn't want to be blamed for declining mainstream interest in the WNBA. We've been talking about this the past couple of weeks. What are the biggest storylines right now in the WNBA? Outside of AA batteries flying on the court, gift wrapped in plastic wiener, what is there to talk about? Since Caitlin Clark has been injured, which has damn near been the entire season, but mainly since the All-Star break, there has been minimal mainstream interest in pretend.
This isn't calming the noise, it's fueling chaos. Every single week of secrecy makes things look shadier, not safer, and the stats don't lie. In the last 3 weeks, Reese has suited up just 3 times. 3, a day-to-day tag means you're almost ready to hoop again, not sitting out 80% of the schedule. That doesn't sound temporary, it screams indefinite, no matter how the Sky spin it. And here's the danger. When a franchise hides the truth, fans start creating their own. And those theories, they're always harsher than whatever reality the team's trying so hard to cover up. Here's where it really gets messy. Some fans are convinced this has nothing to do with basketball at all. Maybe the Sky are running cover for her. Maybe Angel Reese doesn't want the real reason coming out, and the head coach isn't helping, standing in front of the mic, repeating the same tired day-to-day line like a broken record every single press conference.
Chicago Sky, you quit. You quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you no longer, you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was done, you threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you.
Even ESPN has hinted that Reese is probably done for the season. And when you put that national narrative right next to Chicago's official day-to-day stance, it doesn't just look sloppy, it looks shady. It looks like Reese and the Sky are trying to run a PR game on their own fans, and people aren't falling for it. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Angel Reese actually battling some serious injury, or is she just making herself strategically unavailable? Because let's be real, day-to-day sounds less like a medical update and more like code for don't expect her anytime soon. And the longer this drags on, the uglier it looks. Timing in sports is everything, and right now, the timing makes it feel like she's ducking accountability when things got tough. Then suddenly, poof, she's gone.
Reese has quit on the season. The Bravado are 8-24. They were essentially eliminated from the playoffs back in June. I'm sure Angel Reese believes that there's no reason for her to play, but I think it could be a bit deeper.
That's what everyone keeps pointing out. Usually when a player misses time, it's right after a big performance or some freak accident on the court. But when you're still playing games, still getting torched every night, and then you vanish right after, that doesn't feel like bad luck. It feels like an escape hatch. And let's not forget the standings. The Chicago Sky are sitting at a brutal 8-24 record, officially eliminated from playoff contention since June. For Reese to step away right now doesn't scream leadership. It screams brand protection. Instead of grinding it out with her teammates through the storm, it looks like she chose image over loyalty, and fans aren't letting that slide. You can't ignore the optics here. The Sky are drowning, the season's already dead, and the losses stack higher every single week. And every game Angel Reese skips, fans are more convinced she doesn't want her name tied to this disaster. People are flat out saying she's ducking the collapse, avoiding being remembered as part of one of the worst teams in the league. So she hides behind that day-to-day tag, making sure her name doesn't show up on those ugly box scores. But here's where that excuse falls apart. Because when she did play, nothing changed.
And making headlines. But when it came time to suit up against the Fever, she was nowhere to be found.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to.
Chicago still got blown out, still looked lost, still stumbled to the final buzzer like a team begging for mercy. If Reese really wanted to prove her worth, staying on the court during the collapse was her shot to rise above it all. Instead, vanishing only fuels her critics, who say she didn't want any part of the wreckage, that she'd rather protect her image than fight for her squad. And when you look from another angle, the theory gets even darker. Maybe it's not just about the Sky. Maybe Reese doesn't even want to play right now because the league itself is sputtering. Ratings are slipping. The hype that felt unstoppable just weeks ago has cooled off, and the WNBA's momentum has hit a wall. By stepping away, Reese avoids carrying any of that weight. No bad shooting nights, no empty stat lines, no receipts, just clean brand moves, sneaker launches, and curated off-court headlines. For someone carefully shaping an image, that's the perfect escape hatch. And the proof? Look at her actions while sidelined.
Yet again, the Indiana Fever face the Chicago Sky, and yet again, we whoop that. Oh boy. 92-70, it was a whole.
Reese still made the trip to Indiana, not to suit up, not to go head-to-head with Caitlin Clark, but to stay visible without actually playing. That's not commitment to her team, that's commitment to her brand. To push her Reebok sneakers, Angel Reese went all in on the drama, dropping that infamous line about taking over Caitlin Clark's trap, a staged marketing stunt pulled right in Clark's backyard. Weeks later, she's all over social media again, hyping her Reebok shoe launch like it's the second coming of Jordan Brand, promising fans her kicks will one day sit on the same level as Michael Jordan's. And sure, the cameras caught her smiling, shaking hands, signing boxes, and posing for promo pics. But when it came time to actually lace up and battle the Fever, she was nowhere in sight. That choice told fans everything they needed to know. You can't call yourself the face of the league if you're dodging games people bought tickets for. The optics only get uglier when you remember this. She suddenly returned to the lineup the moment her grandmother showed up in the crowd. Convenient timing, right? Her back magically healed just in time for a family photo op. The irony couldn't scream louder if it came with a siren attached.
Not understand is that coaches, and I know the WNBA in some regards isn't a real sports league, and I don't know if they think like real coaches and real people in sports, but the number one ability is availability. If you're not available,
Reese keeps showing up for sneaker launches, photo ops, and carefully curated brand moments, but not for her team, not for the grind, and definitely not for a fan base desperate for hope in a brutal season. That disconnect between brand building and basketball effort is why critics keep hammering the same conclusion. Angel Reese looks more dedicated to polishing her image than rescuing the Chicago Sky. And when you stack that next to Caitlin Clark, the player fighting through pressure, carrying her team and showing up every night, the contrast isn't just noticeable, it's glaring. This is flat out embarrassing. 2 stars, 2 injury situations, but only one is handling it like a pro. That's the line fans keep repeating when comparing Caitlin Clark to Angel Reese. Both are marketed as future faces of the WNBA. Both have dealt with bumps and bruises, yet their approaches couldn't be more opposite. With Clark, the Fever are up front every time. Fans know what's going on, what body part is sore, how the recovery looks, and when she might return. That kind of transparency builds trust, even when the news isn't good. Reese, on the other hand, has been parked on the day-to-day list for weeks with zero clarity. No explanation, no accountability, nothing but silence. And here's the key difference. Clark makes herself available. Even while banged up, she's still out there signing autographs, greeting fans, giving interviews, showing she values the people who keep the league alive. Reese, fans can't even find her. Not on the bench, not in the arena, not sitting with her teammates, nowhere. The one time she did show up in Indiana?
Chicago Sky, you quit. You quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realize you no longer, you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realize your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realize it was done, you threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you. That's 2 seasons in a row.
Not for a Sky versus Fever showdown. Nope, it was for a Reebok promo appearance. That's what's driving fans insane, because while Reese is focused on brand ops, Clark is out here battling through the grind, and the results speak louder than any press release. The Fever and Sky have faced off multiple times this season. Indiana walked away with 4 wins. That's not a rivalry. That's a beatdown. And every time Reese is missing, the perception only grows stronger. She's ducking the head-to-head with Caitlin Clark. Fans aren't dumb. They see the pattern. One star is out there taking hits, carrying the league on her back. The other disappears the moment the spotlight burns too bright. Perception is everything in sports. And right now, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese couldn't be viewed more differently. Clark is seen as the fighter, the one who refuses to quit even when she's battered and bruised. Reese, she's gaining the reputation of being checked out, disinterested, or worse, someone who flat out quit on her team. And the longer she stays away, the faster that image spreads. That's dangerous because it doesn't just hit her reputation. It weighs down the entire league. Ratings are already slipping, and when big-name stars vanish without explanation, fans have even less reason to tune in. People don't show up for mystery absences. They show up for marquee names battling it out on the floor.
Is the back injury. Everybody's questioning it now, and this will be a 3rd straight season where Angel Reese did not finish playing in games, where she just stopped. She just stopped. Some of these injuries, we saw the injuries. We didn't see what happened. What happened?
Every time Reese skips a game, the WNBA loses another hook to keep casual viewers locked in. And the media, they've already cemented the split-screen narrative. Caitlin Clark's injury, real. Angel Reese's injury, not real. That contrast has been repeated so often, it's basically become the default talking point across headlines and debate shows. Fair or not, it sticks. Clark is the fighter. Reese is the faker. That's the story echoing across the league. And once a narrative like that takes hold, it's nearly impossible to shake off. Fans are connecting the dots. Reese's prolonged absence, the Sky's total collapse, and the WNBA's ratings dip, and all of it is being tied back to one conclusion. And here's where the danger turns into a full-blown PR disaster. Angel Reese came into the league with hype, swagger, and the spotlight ready to crown her as one of the next big stars. But the way this injury saga has played out, it's flipped the script completely. Instead of being celebrated, she's becoming the face of inconsistency. And that's a brutal label for any young player trying to build a legacy. Because here's the truth. Fans don't forget. Every skipped game, every vague update, every off-court promo that overshadows her absence is another brick in the wall of doubt being built around her, and that wall is growing higher by the week. What started as whispers has snowballed into a full narrative that Reese doesn't care about the grind, doesn't care about her team, and maybe doesn't care about the league at all. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has become the measuring stick, dragging herself through injuries, carrying her squad, and still putting fans first.
I think we've shown all season long, like, they're resilient, they're connected, they pull for each other, they enjoy one another, They celebrate one another, and that stuff alone is good for 10 to 12 points a game. And for this group, the way that they share the ball, how unselfish they are. I mean, I'm really proud of them. It's not been ideal circumstances all season long, but they've shown the character of who they are. They've been resilient. They've responded to adversity, and they continue to elevate one another. And I couldn't be more proud of this group than I am.
That contrast is burning into people's minds. Clark shows up, Reese disappears. One earns respect, the other invites suspicion, and the numbers only make it worse. Chicago's record is a nightmare, ratings are dropping, and the WNBA is starving for stability. Instead of stepping up when the league needs her most, Reese is seen as retreating, putting her brand before basketball. That's why fans are angry. It feels like she's protecting her image while the ship sinks. This isn't just a bad look, it's career-defining. Once the public decides you're a quitter or a faker, that stain doesn't fade. Reese isn't just risking this season, she's risking her reputation for years to come. And right now, it looks like she's losing that battle fast. At this point, it feels less like an injury saga and more like betrayal. Angel Reese was supposed to be one of the stars helping carry the WNBA into a new era.
Indiana Felines played the Chicago Bravado in prime time on ABC. They drew 1.3 million viewers. It was the least watched game between these two teams since Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese entered the league. Guess who would have been blamed for these ratings if she was playing last weekend? Angel Reese. Guess who would be blamed for the declining mainstream interest the last few weeks if she was on the court? Angel Reese.
But instead, she's become the symbol of everything fans hate: silence, excuses, and brand-first decisions while her team collapses in real time. Think about it. The Sky are sitting at the bottom of the standings. Their season was over months ago, and the one player hyped as their cornerstone is missing in action. Not injured on the bench, not rallying teammates, not even facing the media, just gone. For a franchise in freefall, that's not leadership, it's abandonment. And what makes it sting worse is the timing. The league is desperate for stars who show up, take hits, and give fans a reason to stay tuned in. Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that, carrying Indiana, grinding through every matchup, even when she's bruised and battered. Reese, she's being painted as the opposite, the player who dipped when the lights got hot. Fans notice. They're not fooled by PR spins or vague updates. They see her sneaker launches, her promo appearances, her family photo ops. They see the smile off the court, then the absence on it.
And Angel Reese agreed to play against Washington is because her grandmother was in attendance. And it was the first time grandma would see her granddaughter clap back at the haters in the WNBA dump.
The irony couldn't be louder if it were broadcast on a megaphone. Reese shows up for sneaker launches, photo ops, and family appearances.
And the conclusion they draw is simple. She chose image over basketball. That's why this story cuts deeper than just a bad season. It's not about the Sky's record, it's about trust. Once fans believe a player quit on their squad, that stain doesn't wash off. Reese's absence isn't just hurting Chicago, it's casting a shadow over the entire league. And unless she flips this script soon, she'll be remembered not as a rising star, but as the face of the WNBA's biggest letdown. Angel Reese's so-called injury isn't just hurting Chicago's box scores, it's cutting into the very trust fans place in the WNBA. Every single day she hides behind that day-to-day tag with no real explanation. The league looks less serious, like it can't even get its brightest stars on the floor or keep its own story straight. And in a sport where trust and transparency are everything, that's fatal.
Lack of awareness combined with a lack of ability to jump, not great. Burn!
Me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow.
Yeah! Again, do it for me. Me bow. Burn!
So here's the big question that everyone's asking. Is Angel Reese really hurt, or is she ducking accountability to protect her brand? Because the longer this silence drags on, the worse it looks. Now, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you believe. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share this breakdown so more fans can weigh in. Turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.